Greetings and salutations. In service to the One, I am Amber Dawn Star, practical mystic, energetic activist, and for 34 years, master breathologist. Welcome. Welcome back to my community. Today, we're going to be talking, we're going to be, since I tend to get this download from Spirit, about mom, about your mom, about being a mom, about what does that look like now in the 21st century of being a mom. And regardless of how you feel about your own mother, if you are a mother, then you know now more of your mom's story. You know more of what it really takes to be a mother, what it really takes to be a mom. It is definitely, probably, if not the hardest, one of the hardest jobs in this world, on this planet, especially now. Of course, moms have all of this new information in regard to what to do with their children, if they're going to vaccinate their children, what type of education do they want, what type of education do they want their children to be around and raised with, do they want to do all of the things that are being pushed upon everyone now, that this has to be done. There's a lot of challenges right now in this world being a mom. I don't have to tell you. I am a mom, I am a mother, and it is one of the biggest blessings in my life. A lot of smiles and a lot of tears. They usually talk about mom and Mother's Day and being all, yay and great and awesome. A lot of people don't talk about the reality of being a mom, which is basically 24/7 for the rest of your life. It doesn't stop at 18, that's for sure. It just keeps going as long as you are on the planet or your children are on the planet. And even if you're not, probably still keeps going. So I know that everything that I learned from my mom, I'm still dealing with now. And still learning from now, and help me to realize more of what my mom's story was before me. And I didn't really get that until I had my own children. And I don't really think you do until you walk a mile in those moccasins or, the rest of your life in those moccasins, because it's all encompassing. It just is every aspect, especially if you want to do it right. And even if you think you are doing it right, even if you think you are expanding your horizons and your abilities beyond how you were raised, there's no guarantees that, just depending on what you're telling your children and how you're walking your talk, if that is actually going to translate to your children. Sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't is when the whole idea of being a mom and what that means and how you, and was it your fault? Was it your problem? Was it your challenge when the children end up doing things that you don't understand, that you don't condone, that you don't want to see them going down those paths? You want the best for your children. I know I have always wanted the best for my children, and I have done my best to give them a foundation of truth, of source energy, which is the truth of who they are. I've done that since they were in utero. And I never had that choice. I never had that opportunity. I had a religious, super restrictive religious background. And so never had any kind of understanding of how big and how awesome and how fantastic it really is in this world and what it means to be in this world. So I learned about that. I grew into that, but I wanted to make sure that I gave my children a different opportunity than I was given. And I did. And I realize now that even if you do your absolute best, which I did, and under the circumstances that I had my children, I feel that I did my best. And one of the things that I did that I was never given as a child or an adult, I didn't hear these words until my mother was dying, which was almost 35 years ago. I'm sorry. I never heard that as a child. And I could have definitely used that as a child because I took it on. I took it on that everything that happened that wasn't okay was my fault. And so having that guilt and that shame and feeling that way, and then having that consciously feel that way. And then, of course, as you get older, if you don't deal with it, it goes into your subconscious and is working there until your physical body shows up with dis-ease. And for me, fortunately, I haven't had to experience that much of dis-ease. I've had a lot of structural hits in my body over my life, but that has to do with another whole aspect, which is, astrologically and karmically, that had to be cleaned up. So, but my children were given that and those words, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, a lot of, they don't remember a lot that they were given that, but I know, and God knows that happened because I wanted to make sure that it did. I knew I wasn't going to be perfect as a parent, and nobody is, you see. That concept of perfectionism of being a mom and what, that is looking like isn't necessarily the truth of what it is really like to be 24/7, the rest of your life in the trenches with your children. Because it's not all, a piece of cake. I'm sure you know that that's the truth, that it is not always joyous. It's not always happy. It's not always butterflies and roses. A lot of it is down and dirty and gritty. And especially if you want to raise your children with consciousness, which I did. And I am glad I did because of the choices that they've made so far in their lives, regardless of those choices, that some of those I really don't agree with and consider poor choices. I know that their soul is learning the lessons that it needs to learn. Most of the time, I don't understand it. I don't understand it with my own soul, let alone their soul, let alone the collective souls. But I do my best to stay in alignment and listen to what Spirit is saying and bring back the love and the light that I am and that I know my children are too, regardless of how they're acting it out right now. One of the people that I really just admire and hold in very high esteem is a young man named Matt Kahn, Kahn. You can look him up. He has some awesome videos on YouTube. And one of the things that he says is that if it was supposed to happen any other way, it would have. That has helped me get through some of the challenges of why is this happening? How come this is happening? I don't like this at all happening. And the surrender And the trust and faith that regardless, it's happening for a reason. And it's happening for their soul's growth and my soul's growth and the growth. That's what's going on. So I have had to surrender a lot of what I most wanted for my children, and which was the best, and watch them make choices that aren't the best. And live with that and forgive myself where I feel like, I still didn't do my best, even though I know I did. It's the ego thing. The ego is like, oh, you're never doing your best. You're never right. You're never okay. You always have to improve. You always have to get to perfection. And that's not the truth of things. The truth of things is that we are already perfect. We just have forgotten that. A lot of the new children, though, the new humans have not forgotten that, which is amazing when you look on the internet and you see 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds doing things that adults don't do. And doing it with the conviction and the knowing that they are doing the right thing. These are the new humans. And sometimes these new humans are born to people that have that awareness and are conscious. And sometimes these new humans are born into families that are completely dysfunctional. It just depends on the soul and the agreements with the other souls of your family. But now, especially moms, have to realize and remember that we are in the most tumultuous times that have been ever seen on this planet. And the children that we have been honored to bring through are part of the new, no matter what. And we have to realize that it's important that we keep seeing the truth of that, so that our egos don't get in the way, that our minds don't get in the way, that we keep our hearts open, that we keep our connection to source and that alignment open. And that connection, keeping it open, will guide us through the times that we don't understand, and that we different, and that we want it to be different, and that we thought it would be. That's where your faith, your true faith, your trust and faith come in those times. The times that are challenging, the times that are rough, the times that you want to stop, the times that you want to give up. And we've all had those feelings, I'm sure, as a parent, as a mom, especially a single mom. And there's a lot of those, unfortunately, now on the planet, a lot of single moms that get the whole brunt of it, that get everything about it, because they have to be both parents. And that's pretty challenging. It's enough to be one parent, let alone both parents. Unfortunately, the masculine does not realize how important their role is as fathers. Possibly now, the younger generations, the young men in their 40s and 30s, late 30s and 40s do, and even in their 20s, do realize how important the father is in the raising of the children, because a lot of them didn't have their father. There's a lot of single moms out there now where, at one time being a single mom was the worst thing you could possibly be. You didn't have a man, you didn't have a father, you didn't have that in your life. Oh my God, you were terrible. Well, now we realize and we've seen that, women are pretty awesome and can do a lot of it. A lot of it. However, having the masculine, especially the masculine that cares, and especially the masculine that wants to be involved, awesome. There's more of those now. But for all you moms out there that didn't have that, I'm one of those. Didn't plan on that. That was something that the father decided the day before they were born that he had changed his mind. And of course, I could have changed my mind and given them up for adoption, but I didn't. And now, 30, almost 2 years down the line, I am dealing with those choices that, if you give your child up for adoption, there's another whole bag of stuff that they carry. There's always something, right? There's always something on the third dimension to be dealt with energetically. So, all you moms out there that feel less than, or feel like you haven't done enough, or feel unworthy, or there's shame, or there's guilt, I'm here to tell you, God bless you. God bless you for showing up. God bless you for doing the hardest ass job there is. God bless you. Don't forget that we all are human. The soul that is having this human experience comes with all of those feelings. The positive ones too. However, a lot of times the mom takes on the rules of, it wasn't good enough. I didn't do a good enough job. It's my fault. And I'm here to say, no, it isn't. If you know in your heart that you did the best you could under whatever circumstances you were under, and you have that knowing with source that you did, then that's what you need to hang on to. That's your lifeline of understanding, that you did do the best you could. And, no one knows that really until they walk it. Because if you don't walk the path of being a mother, you'll always hold your mother hostage. You'll always make her wrong. You'll always think that she wasn't good enough for you. She didn't do good enough for you. Most of us, I wouldn't say every single person on the planet, but a lot of people hold their mother in low self-esteem. They don't think that she did a good enough job. These are the people that don't have children. These are the people that have no idea what it really means to be a mom. And they don't teach you that, do they? No, they don't. Do they teach you that in school? Well, they're starting to. I mean, with, taking care of an egg, taking care of a rubber doll, a little bit, and even the boys get to do that too. So there's a little bit of awareness moving in that direction. There's a little bit of understanding, but not enough to really let people, young boys and girls, know that committing to this is the biggest commitment of your life, regardless of how it turns out. That's where the unconditional love comes in. You want to know about unconditional love? You've heard that word, I'm sure. What does that mean? Well, for me, it means that regardless of what my children choose and how they act and what they do and whatever feelings and thoughts they have in regards to me and my parenting skills, I love them. I love them all the time. Yes, of course, I would like to see different choices for them. I would like to see better choices for them. Absolutely. But those people, my children, their souls have their own path. And whatever that path looks like for their soul is something that they are going to walk. And I've had my own path with my soul that I've had to walk. that probably there's a lot of people that were like, why did you choose that? Because I needed to grow and learn the lessons. That's pretty much it. That's the reason. And they are too. They're learning their lessons too. And we are eternal, so we do have time to get it right. Or definitely at least learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn from whatever experience we choose. So today, for Mother's Day, I know it's tomorrow, but for this weekend of Mother's Day, give your mom a break. Cut her some frickin' slack, will you? If you're all, my mom, cut her some slack, especially if you haven't had children. Give her the benefit of the doubt. Even if it was so challenging and so harsh, that soul of your mom still was doing the best in her capacity that she could. Just like you are, if you are mom now and watching this video, that you're doing the best you could too, and that you can too. And take your own self down off the cross and forgive yourself and have compassion for yourself as much as you do for anyone else, as much as you do for your children. I know it's a lot, but what else? What else is there, right? What else? Loving your children unconditionally. Yeah, you don't have to agree with all their choices. Hell no, you don't. That's not part of it. But loving them through all their choices, that's your part. That's your part with your children. That's your part with yourself. And that's your part with all that is realizing that it's all one, it's all connected, and that each individual soul has its own journey. And this is where your trust and faith, this is where walking your talk comes into play. To allow and accept, even if you don't like it. Even if you're like, what the flip-flop is going on there? This is where your connection to Source is your lifeline. So I want to send all the blessings to all the mothers out there in this world, and know that you are awesome. That you have chosen to do this for whatever reasons you had in your decision making to be a mom. And now that you're walking in those moccasins, you see that, oh, wow, there's way more to this than they ever let me know in school or anywhere. I'm here to tell you that it's all going to work out. It all is working out, even if we don't know the end result yet. It is working out because God knows what God is doing. Even if you don't, even if I don't, the part of me that is God does know and does have that trust and faith and compassion for myself as a mom. Trusting in faith that is exactly what was supposed to be happening. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't have. So take this with you for Mom's Day. Take the understanding that you are doing the best that you can. And regardless of how your children turn out, that is up to them too. You give them the tools, and then they either utilize those tools or they do not. And if they do not, that is not on you. That is their choice. That is where free will comes in. Destiny is one thing. Destiny is you're going to have these children regardless of the circumstances. And you're going to keep them and you're going to raise them. And the free will is how you approach that, how you feel about that. Can you surrender? Can you trust and have faith that your best maybe doesn't seem like it was good enough, but it was, and it is. So give yourself that big hug and that big kiss and that big pat on the back. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are the best. You are awesome. Thank you for being you. And thank you for giving yourself the opportunity to bring through the souls that you have and to see how it all plays out. Because this is just this moment. There's a lot more to come. God bless. Om Namah Shivaya. In La Catch, I am another yourself. Thank you. Come back and see me. Bye now.